Hello, this is John Smallwood of Smallwood Wealth Management. Today, I want to update you on a very important new changes to IRA rules that are out in both the House and the Senate. The Secure Act was recently passed by the House by a vote of 417 to 3. Most of the provisions in this law are going to be very beneficial to incentives for employers to sponsor retirement plans, making it easier for people to participate in them, giving tax incentives for people to participate in retirement plans. But it's also going to have some impacts on things that we think are important parts of planning. In the IRA world, a very important part of IRA planning is the use of what is called a stretch IRA or a beneficiary-designated IRA or a deceased IRA. Many, many years ago when I started, you had to take the money out over a 5-year period out of an IRA if it was not going to a spouse, if it was going to a child. So what we're seeing now is the House bill that has been passed, it limits the stretch to only 10 years. So what's happening is it's forcing people beneficiaries to pull the money out over a 10-year period, which could increase the client's tax rate during that time frame of the beneficiary. One of the beneficial sides of this is that it's pushing the required minimum distribution, or better known as RMD, back from 70.5 to 72. The Senate bill, which has also been passed, limits the stretch to just 5 years, but pushes the RMD back to 75. So what we're going to have to see is a reconciliation of both of these laws to come together. But a very important part of retirement planning and inheriting and passing IRAs is the concept of the stretch beneficiary or the beneficiary IRA. This will impact how you should take money out of an IRA, what you should leave versus what you should not leave. So this is a very important part of taking action and rethinking where your money comes from, how it comes out, and how will my beneficiaries be impacted by this. So as with everything, good things come with bad things. This may not be as good as we thought for most people. The RMD is great, but the stretch, if you think about it, so I can push the required minimum distribution back 2 years or 5 years, depending upon what variation of this gets passed, from the 70.5, which creates more money in the qualified plan in theory, which would then, depending on the rules in which they use to calculate the RMD, could create a higher RMD at 72 or 75. But also, if my beneficiaries need to pull this money out over a 5-year period or 7-year period or a 10-year period, if there's more money in the IRA, it could force them into a higher tax bracket and paying a significantly higher tax than you're paying now. So again, it's really, really important that we spend some time reviewing how this could impact. And what we're thinking is, since they've both been passed, they need to be reconciled. We could see something as soon as the end of the calendar year. Stay tuned and we will update you. Welcome to the end of the video. Smallwood Wealth Management is an investment advisor representative. The opinions expressed by Smallwood Wealth Management and guests on this show are their own. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Information presented for this educational purposes only. Moreover, no listener should assume that any discussions or information presented serves as a receipt of or substitute for personalized advice from Smallwood Wealth Management or from any other investment professional, and is not intended as an offer of solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Smallwood Wealth Management is not a law firm or an accounting firm, and no portion of this presentation should be interpreted as legal, accounting, or tax advice. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as a recommendations appropriate for any individual. Listeners are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation. Thank you for listening.